again.
Huh?
There it is again. You can't stop it.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. It's so good. So I welcome everyone. This is a very, very special pod. We have DJ Chark's sister, Detra Chark. She's coming on. She's coming on. Sorry, I'm so excited. I can't even talk. She's coming on to talk about her and DJ's Academy, the Sports Performance Academy, and tell us a little bit about that. But first, we have to have a little bit of fun, ask her about her background, ask her if she's a better athlete than her brother, all the kind of stuff that where she can kind of talk mess. But before all of that, Dietrich gave Ricky a great nickname. So we don't have the exact name yet, but Ricky the Wrestler. It's so good. You look just like a wrestler. She's so right.
Yeah. I haven't gotten that one before, with the double R's, Ricky Reigns. I've always been told it's a baseball name. That was also when I was younger. Now that I'm 35 and a large human, the wrestling thing definitely plays and makes a ton of sense. So we're kind of like floating around. Should it just be Ricky the Wrestler? Should it be Rowdy Ricky?
We need to get a poll or something on Twitter or something like that.
We've got to make this more official and let the people of Panther Nation make that decision.
Okay,
unless Coach D, unless you have like a really strong opinion on this and you've got a name picked out already.
Not quite. Okay. I have to let it marinate a little bit.
We'll think on it.
I was going to say, nobody wants to actually listen to us right now. We got Coach D on.
Let's let the floor go for her.
Yeah. Coach D, introduce yourself.
So, hey, I'm Detra, DJ's older sister, not younger. I always get that. And I have a background in athletics. DJ and I have grown up all our lives together, and we started this Chark Sports Performance Academy for kids. We just always felt like we should be able to give them what we had because our parents were very involved in our lives and they helped contribute to us being successful adults. So we want to pour into the athletes and the young kids just like we were poured into, and also bring them some of the things that we feel like that are super important at this age, especially in 2023, because there's a lot going on in the world.
Man.
Right. Absolutely. And we are so lucky just at being the thing that I pride myself the most of being a Panthers fan is we've always just had good people come through. Going back to like Thomas Davis, Cam, Steve Smith, Luke
Greg
Kuechly.
Olsen.
Yeah. Greg Olsen. Yeah. Like there's just been amazing people with amazing hearts. And we keep bringing those people in. Bozeman last year, Hayden Hurst, DJ, like we keep bringing these good dudes in, and they and their and families, because strong women behind the strong men. Absolutely, it's absolutely amazing, and I couldn't be more proud of the players that we get on. But we definitely need to kind of talk some mess, give DJ a hard time. So, are you still faster than DJ, or if you are not, when did he become faster than you?
So the answer to that question is no, I am not still faster than him. And I think when I realized it was probably once I went to college. So I think once I went to college and he became in his high school days, I feel like that's when the tables start to turn. I'll never forget. I think we had like a race, and I'm normally in front of him, and we raced because that was just what we did. And this particular race, he was really close to me, really close to me. And from that point, I vowed never to race him again.
Right.
You have to go out on top. You can't let him beat you. So we haven't raced again, and I'm sure he's like light years ahead of me now, but the world will never know, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. I'm undefeated.
That's perfect, though, because you stopped racing him before he was granted the Flash nickname at LSU. So you never have to say that you lost a race to him.
Correct.
That's beautiful. It keeps you honest. You can still say it without lying to the people. I love that. Now, the most important question that I had, though, about listening to that story, when you did that race, was it barefoot? Because I know that's the way that you're supposed to do it, right?
I want to say yes, because we were always like kick off our shoes, and
that's right.
It was always anytime, anywhere. It was kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
So I want to say yes.
Love that. That's the competitor mentality.
we kind of hear that he's been talking a little trash at camp. Do you talk trash too? Do you guys talk trash to each other?
Oh, that's a good one. Do we talk trash to each other? I don't. I mean, somewhat, not necessarily in sports, but in every other aspect of life, we do. And it's kind of like, in order to be a part of our family, you just have to have really thick skin because it's just coming out. Like, we're very honest and it's funny, and you just have to love it. Either you love it or you don't.
Yeah, that's a great segue into kind of giving a little bit of background. You speak about your family, the Chark family. I mean, you guys are a walking testament of perseverance and determination, resiliency.
Yeah.
Um, Give us a little bit of background about your family. I know that there's resources out there online that people could look at this, but it's a whole lot better to hear this from somebody directly involved. Your dad and mom both had freak work accidents that had significant ramifications to their physical health. Um, and that also ties into the mental health aspect that you're doing with your Charks Up initiative for the Chark Sports Performance Academy. What is the importance of the history that you guys have gone through and to what you're doing now, and how DJ has been able to overcome a lot of those obstacles and is such a high level athlete now in the NFL?
I would definitely say most of it, like, we give our parents all the credit. Like, our mom and our dad were there for us, no matter what. Like, it was always like they would be there for us. And they did both have these accidents, and for most people, I believe they would look at it as a negative thing, which in the moment, things do seem negative.
Mm-hmm.
However, I always feel like anything that happens for a reason, and you can always turn that around for good. And so what it created was this stronger parenthood that was able to be more involved in every aspect of our lives. So when you take away the working aspect or being in the social world aspect, they were able to put more into us. So we trained. I always joke and I tell people about how much training we actually did. And they're like, did they really make y'all do that? I'm like, absolutely. So I definitely think the fact that we were able to overcome it, the fact that we were able to persevere through it. Not only did I went to college, DJ went to college, we both finished. I feel like it was just a little sacrifice that kind of happened, and on the other end of it, created these two individuals who not only understood what happened, but are able to be positive about it, and we learned to persevere through it all. And so I really feel like that has helped DJ and myself become who we are today.
Absolutely, because you've dealt with your own personal trials and tribulations with health, right?
I did.
7 throat surgeries in 7 months. Did I read that correctly?
I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I have asthma, man. It's not nothing to play with. So,
man, I know this summer is just brutal then.
It is hot, and I've learned to manage it, but as a kid and as a teen, we think we're superhuman. So we tend to maybe not follow all the directions, and it catches up with us. So I'm a firm believer of that. And I also feel like, again, watching my parents go through so much, it helped me get to the other side and understand, like, we are here for a purpose. And so I always feel like everyone's here for a purpose, and we don't leave the world until we actually fulfill that purpose. And so until you fulfill whatever purpose it is that God's have you here for, you're going to be here for a while.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah, I think that all that leads into, kind of why you and DJ have this academy. Do you want to kind of give us an overview of what you guys do, what you guys want to do in the future, why overall you're doing it, what's your, like, is this what inspires you? Is something else is inspiring you to start this?
So it's a combination of a couple of things. I have a daughter who's 9. And, DJ has his daughter and his son. And my daughter plays basketball. So I've always wanted to train. I've been a coach. I've been training for Coach years. I've trained for about 15, 16 years. And mostly I started in kids. I started training high school when I was in college. I trained high school, and then I trained at Alexandria Senior High, and I was actually DJ's high school track coach.
Oh,
So
That was
here's the
pretty
reason
cool.
why he became the
Oh,
Flash.
So that was pretty cool.
Coach D.
That was pretty cool. I coached him in high school, and then I coached collegiately for about 3 years, and then I went coaching adults. Well, doing all of that, adults train because they want to. Like there's not very many of us who are like really working out because somebody's standing over our shoulder. But for kids, so to speak, they all want to be great, but I find that in 2023, they're not training like we train. Like you said, kick off your shoes and have a race.
Yeah.
How many kids do you really see outside these days kicking
Nope.
off their shoes and racing? How many kids do you actually see outside? So we started Chark Sports Performance as a way to train athletes like that 1990s way. Like the old school way where you don't need all this extra stuff that they tell you need. All you need is someone who's willing to pour into you, and that's it. You show up, you get the workout. In addition to that, we talk to them about nutrition. After every workout, we provide them with nutritional snacks, fruits and vegetables and things like that to help steer them toward that instead of all the sugary stuff. And we pour into them. There's a wall, there's a mural that says, I could do all things through Christ, because we believe that. So that's like a staple of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, we pour into them mentally. One of our things that we always say, we provide confidence, because confidence is not really something that you can teach necessarily. We can show it, we can help them walk through it, but you kind of just have to have it. And ideally, we try to develop that in them, that confidence within themselves first, because before you can do anything else, you got to believe in you before anyone else will. So we provide that. We try to instill confidence in them. We try to instill some love and some nurturing into them. And then we talk about things that typically don't really get talked about. Mental health is huge on an adult platform, but we also feel like it should be huge on the kid, because sometimes 9 times out of 10 adults will say, I'm dealing with something because of my childhood traumas.
Yep.
So to speak.
Yep.
But if we can step in on the childhood trauma floor and provide some sort of avenue for them to talk, it doesn't have to be super in depth. We just want to bring to them, like, what is anxiety? People always say, oh, I have anxiety, I have this, but tell me what that is. What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Bullying is super huge right now.
Yeah.
So we talk about the other end. Everyone's like, how to recognize when you're being bullied, but let's talk about how not to be a bully. What's funny to you may not be funny to everyone else. So we're doing a lot of work to train our athletes, but we're not just trying to create the athlete in the gym or on the track or on the field. An overall person is what we're really striving to do.
Man, that's incredible. And that's what you have going right now with the Charks Up initiative, correct?
Correct.
Got it. And so you've got a raffle going on right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So currently we do train the kids already, but we want to create this. Chark Ups is on a play of checkups. So instead of going to the doctor and getting a checkup, you can come to us and get a Chark Up, where we're checking up on you and seeing how you're doing. And it's also, what we're doing is we're creating like a date night for parents. So you drop the kids off and you spend about 2-3 hours away, and we're creating fun activities, and we'll have a topic each time to talk about what is, again, like if we use anxiety first, what is anxiety? Create scenarios to where they can answer, they don't feel uncomfortable, and just an open space so that if something is going on, we're able to help them through that, and we're able to identify that early, because again, kids don't always talk to their parents.
Yeah.
So we'll be the second line of defense when it comes to these kids. And we're just trying to raise enough money to create, one, awareness, but also to make it bigger. Because right now, we have so much space and so many things that we can do. But in order to provide more, we're just trying to raise enough money to bring every aspect of that we can. And hopefully, in the off season, we can also get with a couple of these athletes and get them to come in and kind of tell their story.
Absolutely. What an innovative approach, too, with the date night for parents, because it's such a great idea to make it all tie together again, right? Like you speak about that family support system working as a whole unit. It's important for the parents to have their mental health be as strong as possible, and getting out and doing their own thing can provide that. And it helps them to give their all for their children when they're not so stressed. They get a little bit of decompression. It's just such an innovative and totally involved way of doing that. I love it. It's so important what you're talking about, having that safe space, because that vulnerability and that honesty isn't something that a lot of young kids are comfortable with from like a just natural standpoint. That is something that can be nurtured and brought out into their lives and make it more prevalent so that they are better equipped as an adult to deal with the things that we find out as adults are extremely difficult, you know?
Yeah, correct, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, me and you have like, I mean, I don't know if you've gone through therapy. I know you're doing this as a therapeutic outlet, but I've gone through a therapy, and a big thing that's helped me through it is just talking about it, just talking in general, like just having an outlet to just get it out. And I feel like everybody's texting, everybody's like nobody's talking about their issues anymore, and just giving somebody, just having somebody be like, "How are you?" and really care. I think just that is so important, especially in 2023.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one other thing that I caught then, that what you said is you want to train like it's the 90s again, right? Ready to kick the shoes off anytime, any place, we can do this.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I researched and read was an article from Joe Person with The Athletic, where he profiled your brother recently about being Bryce Young's deep threat. And in that article, he mentioned how your dad made an impromptu agility ladder that DJ would have to go out there and run on, and he would do the fade routes. And then once he caught one, he'd have to turn around because another one was coming. That's what you're trying to instill at the Performance Academy then, right? Is that mentality?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like we did on what one person's trash is another man's treasure. So when you would think it was like nothing, like, oh my God, y'all don't have any of this. Oh, we worked. And and the funny part about us working is kids would always ask my parents, hey, can we work out with them? And I'm in the back like, you know, and they would do it, and they were not having it. They couldn't get it. A lot of people were like, I'm tired, I'm done. But we had a rule that you couldn't finish unless you finished a certain way. So anytime you start a workout with us, you had to finish it a certain way. And I would just be like, you know, you signed that letter yourself. You put yourself in those shoes. So my dad was very innovative when it comes to training.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother-in-law. My niece and nephew have like a Ninja Warrior gym that they do now. I was like, man, when I was growing up, I had a football. I would kick it in the air or throw it in the air and catch it. Yeah. Like that's what that was how I had fun. And you said, yeah, you know, the old school 90s way. I'm like, how old am I? Am I getting old now? Or the 90s is the old school way?
Oh, you want to feel old? Just the other day, we were sitting there, and my son was reading a book about dinosaurs. He's obsessed with them, right? He's 5. And he says, how long ago did the dinosaurs live? And my wife was like, man, a long time ago, bud. And he was like, you mean like the 80s? Oh, don't do that to me, man. Like, that's when I was born. You think that's when the dinosaurs were around?
That's hilarious.
Oh man, yeah. You see like the TikToks where they put like the 90s like, and the kids don't, like the Gen Z doesn't know that, like
has no idea, right?
Yeah, it's like Britney Spears One More Time or something like that.
Right.
They're like, I have no idea what this song is. Oh no.
All right, so getting back to the football aspect of this, because this kind of goes along with the training and the perseverance, right? We have heard that DJ has this label on him as injury prone. That is the way that a lot of people view his only hindrance to his next level of success, right?
But not all of us.
Not all of us, no. Alex is literally your brother's #1 fan. He has been the loudest voice in the room ever since a room was created.
I created the room.
He did. He built it from the floor, you know?
He won me a fantasy football championship in 2019, so I'm always
But so I'm interested to know, this staff, the wide receivers coach, Sean Jefferson, has come out and he said it was misdiagnosed, it was mismanaged, his injury last year in Detroit. They feel extremely confident that he's healthy going into this season. I believe the wording that Coach Jefferson said is that they're going to callus him up and he's going to play 17 games out there. I know that fits DJ's mentality and personality from the perseverance and from the grind that he's gone through already in his life. So what do you expect from your brother? And I'm not talking about production. I just mean, what do you expect to see from your brother on the football field this year?
So I would say, first of all, with the whole injury thing, that is correct. It was misdiagnosed. Because I'm telling him, and he's telling me what he's feeling, and I'm like, that's not right. And honestly, I feel like they could cut me a check on.
I was about to say that. Get Coach D back.
They could cut me a check right now because I was all in there. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, I understand what you're telling me, but what they're telling you is not the right thing. Yeah. So, by the way, that was a plug. They can write the check out to Chark Sports Performance.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can.
Do that.
But ideally, what I'm looking to see, I'm already seeing it. I watch him I've seen him a couple different times throughout the off season, and he's so hyper focused because in his mind, he wants to be the best him at all times. Like we're not a family that gives 10%. We're giving 110%. So with that being said, I'm looking for him to do big things.
Yeah.
If you notice when he was with Detroit, he did big things while he played
against the Panthers.
He let us
a lot of people do not know that he was hurting so bad, and when he was out those 6 to 8 games, he came back and almost had 100 yards per game.
Yep.
With the injury, he hadn't had it treated yet. He was still injured the entire time. He had not had it treated yet. And if you're able, can you imagine going somewhere injured and getting almost 100 yards a game?
No.
Then to being healed, and just he's so laser focused.
Yeah, and his confidence has to be through the roof too, right?
He's so laser focused, and he loves being like that odd person because there's always that one more thing to prove type of mentality that he has. And so honestly, I think, God makes no mistakes. So people going in on the top sometimes feel like there's a chip on their shoulder, but going in on the bottom, you have so much more volume and sky to look for that I just definitely feel like he's going to do some great things. Of course, I'm a big fan too, but I'm a realist when it comes to how things play out. And I talk to him all the time, and he's so hyper focused that I think I talk to him like twice a week. Like I don't even get in his way. I'm like, you stay here. I'll catch you whenever you're having a moment of distraction. But
that's right.
For the most part, we as a family want him to be dialed all the way in.
Man, and he seems like he's locked in camp. You come from a track and field history, and DJ ran track too, right?
He did.
Yeah. There's another way that track is super important with DJ Chark. His uncanny ability to track that deep ball that we have already seen in Panthers training camp. Man, I don't know that I've seen it. I don't know that I've seen it in person from another Panthers receiver, at least in the past 5 or 6 years. DJ Moore was the last DJ that we had that is a fan favorite. Everyone loved him. Obviously, we had to ship him out to get the number 1 pick with Bryce Young. He played a different style of game, and this approach that your brother brings, DJ Chark brings to this Panthers team, is something that I think is going to immediately make him a fan favorite. He can find and identify that ball coming over the top, over that back shoulder. And Coach Jefferson said it's called late hands. He makes these catches that you just have no inclination he's going to be able to haul in, and he makes it look effortless every single time.
Yeah. It's sometimes I'm like, did he catch it?
Right.
So I get it. I understand.
And this is Blake Bortles and Gardner Minshew and Jared Goff throwing it to him. And now we got a number 1 overall draft pick doing it. Well, getting on to this, because some of us, maybe one of us in the entire Panther Nation has bought a DJ Chark jersey. And we know that he's in on a 1-year deal. Has he talked to you about how much he's enjoying the team in Charlotte?
I will be completely transparent. It's hard to get a read on anything because he enjoys everywhere. He's always humble. Yeah. So he enjoys every opportunity. So I always ask, like, how you liking it? And he's like, oh, the people are great. Like, he's never said a bad thing about any of his teams to really be 100%. Never to the point where it's like, oh my God, you don't like it there. But I'm sure he's enjoying the sun.
Is he? It's hot.
That Spartanburg sun is a whole different beast too. Yeah.
So honestly, anytime he's going to a team or we're talking about it, I'm just like, is it warm or is it cold? I vouch for all the warm places. I don't even have to know who's playing or where it's at. If it's warmer, hey, let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah,
well, and he's even said himself too about winning over his teammates everywhere he goes with his work ethic. Like that's something that is instilled in him, and that is his focus when he comes onto a new team. So that makes sense that you would say that he enjoys everywhere that he's been, and that he's just honest about it, and there's no like negativity about any of it, because I think that's the way that he seems to approach life and professional football.
Yeah, negativity is so much stress.
Man, it just drains you for no reason, right? Yeah.
Oh man.
Like, what are we doing with the negativity? Let's just be happy.
Just don't
Life
suck.
Life is beautiful.
Don't suck.
Absolutely.
Rule number 1: don't suck.
That's right.
Me and Ricky first did a first podcast. We did. Was that the Fanatics crossover?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, which is rule number 1 in that is just don't suck.
Just don't suck.
Getting on that, is your team whatever the team that your brother's on, or are you a homer? Are you a Saints fan?
No. Oh no. So growing up, Saints was like the thing. We're from Louisiana, so Saints, I mean, it had to be our thing. Oh. And of course, initially we were all like Saints. Like that was just like a thing because it's so close. But I'm gonna tell y'all now, I'm jumping ship every time he jumps a ship. Yeah. So welcome. If he's going to a team, I'm going to the team, and I'm there 110%, and that's kind of like our whole family. Like we're going to support you no matter where you are. They got some places that's super cold, and places where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I really don't want you to go there. I'm not going to speak on them, but if he did, guess what? I have to go there. Oh. So
the Panthers have lost enough of our players to Buffalo. Please don't go to Orchard Park, DJ. Stay in Charlotte. No. We love you here, man. Please just stay here.
Well, that's
so and for your sister's sake too. She doesn't want to go to that cold.
Look, so, I don't like cold.
I knew it right when and you saying what you're saying right now, it makes so much more sense because when he was signing with the Panthers, I knew they were going back and forth because we were trying to get like a 3-year deal done, and he was like, no, I'm betting on myself. He's like, I'm going to take a 1-year deal because I know that what I'm going to do on the field. And that's what, and when people talk, listen. And as soon as he said that, I was like, this dude knows how good he is. He's betting on himself. And he knows that he ain't going to be injured again because he's turning down money next year. Mm-hmm. So I think, 1, he's going to have an amazing season. But 2, I think we already know how good he is. Let's go ahead and extend him. Let's just go ahead and give him some more money. Yeah. Keep him here. It's only going to go up from here. And we ain't got too much money. So we got money. We ain't got too much money, though.
Hey, by the way, what was your event in track?
So I was a hurdler. I did hurdles and I did sprints. So I also was on the 4x4 and the 4x1 team.
Did you ever do the 40-yard dash? Have you gotten your personal best time on that?
No, I did as a freshman in high school. And okay. I think I ran like 4.7 something as a freshman in high school. But I haven't ran it since then.
What?
I mean, why? Why do it, right? Like just say that 4.7. Like that's it. That's my
so
number.
Fast. That's like Hayden Hurst.
Yeah,
you're as fast as Hayden Hurst, basically.
I had some great collegiate athletes and some great high school teammates. We had a girl on our team named Chastity Lewis, so shout out to her. But she was super fast. She ended up becoming like Gatorade Athlete of the Year and things like that. So, I mean, when you have a person on your team who's running like, I think she was running like 11.7 or 11.6. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like she was 1 year over me. So the bar was always set. So that was just a big thing for us, like making sure that we're being competitive, hitting those markers. And, you know, we always wanted to run the 40, of course, because all the guys were doing it. So like, hey, we're good. Let us get a little piece of the cake.
That's right. It's nice to have that high bar set, though, right? Because you always want to aspire for the highest goal that you can. So when you know that there's already a lofty expectation, why not shatter that? That's what you're trying to do every single time.
Absolutely. And that goes into every aspect of life, I think. So
yep, completely agree.
So I know I just said Hayden Hurst as like a fast joke, or not a joke, but like a comparison. Have you looked into Hayden Hurst and what they're doing with mental health in youth?
I have not. So I watch a little bit of podcasts myself, and every time I
Which one?
notice that a person is like, has something with mental health, I kind of jot it down. I make a little note about it, note about it. So, ideally, what I'm trying to do is make enough notes so where I can reach out to everybody. Because the worst people can say is no, and that's it.
That's
So,
it.
and
100%.
it's no hard feelings. What's for now may not be for now for you. A no now is not a no forever.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
I'm just making a little list of people, and every time I hear about it, I'm going to be reaching out to every single person. Cast the net wide and see what happens.
Yeah, I
That
think.
reminds me. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that reminds me of the quote from The Office, because I know that your brother is a big fan of The Office.
No,
he's
not.
an Office and Parks and Rec. Yeah, he's an Office and Parks and Rec guy, if I remember right. Now, he did say, though, that I think his favorite character, SpongeBob SquarePants, if I remember correctly.
He likes
But
SpongeBob.
but he is a fan of The Office. He says one of his dogs is named Dundee. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yep. But the quote from Michael Scott to tie it all back together is he says something about missing 100% of the shots that you don't take. The old adage, and he does his thing on that. Yep. That's what you're talking about. The worst thing that can happen is somebody says no, but if you don't shoot, you can never make it either.
Correct.
Me and Ricky wouldn't have this podcast if I didn't reach out and him say no. Right. We wouldn't be talking right now if I didn't reach out and say it. And you say, like, it's the best thing, the best networking. It's just asking. Like, nobody's being mad at you for asking. As long as when they say no, just respect their decision. Just say no.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's good to build that mentality too, though, of not being afraid and hesitant to reach out, and that will help you if you're able to ask for somebody to get involved in something with you. Then you're also not going to be afraid to ask for help if you ever need it.
Correct.
And it just builds that entire foundation that will help you professionally, athletically, personally, any way that you look at it. Not having something hinder your thought process is the name of the game, right? Clear objectives and attacking it with that approach.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's all about mental health. It's just being able to, like, be vulnerable, ask for help, ask. That's why I'm so, like, on board with what you're doing and instilling it young. It's so amazing, and I think that you and DJ and Hayden are both coming in with the same, because he had really bad mental health problems. I think he was a pitcher. He got the yips. He translated football. He had a lot of anxiety. This is all known, so I wouldn't seem like I'm just speaking out of turn, but he contemplated suicide. So he's really big with his foundation with mental health, and he specifically targets youth, military, but basically anyone. So I think that you guys both coming with the same sort of mentality might be fun for some sort of collaboration. I'm sure Panther Nation would be willing to help. I'm definitely willing to help with anything along those lines. But I just think what you guys are doing are phenomenal. I think it's amazing. But that's my rant. Now, talk more about Coach D. Anything else that you think is important for what you guys are doing? The message that you want out there, football related?
Definitely, I will say this. Anytime somebody think of like Chark Sports Performance, most people think about athletes, but if you go to our website, we have a lot of stuff where you'll see everything we try to specialize in. And right now, we even have kids who deal with childhood obesity. So that's another area of which we've had a couple of kids come through who are dealing with some things and, want doctor says medication, and we're like, hey, let's try to get them down a little bit. Let's work on pour into them so that they're more confident in themselves. They can lose weight, nutrition, and we've been able to do a lot. I don't post a lot of our stuff online because I'm not big on social media. I don't really know. I still don't know how to create a reel yet, so I have to figure that out.
I just learned how for this podcast. I
just did my first one yesterday. First ever.
I just realized how old I am. I just got TikTok.
That's me too.
Oh man, have no idea. So we can learn together.
Yes, we're gonna have to learn. But
right.
we have a lot of stuff that like people don't even know we're doing. And I keep saying I'm gonna do a testimony Tuesday, and parents all the time say, "Hey, my child did this, and now they're doing this, and they're super excited." So ideally, once I learn how to do reels in social media and things like that, I am going to start posting more so that people can see everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
And know that it's not just like we're not just targeting athletes. We're targeting anyone who has the willpower and the want to do. We will take you. We don't necessarily always target the kids that made the basketball team and the football team. I want to target the kids that didn't too.
Yeah.
Because next year it may be your opportunity to make the team. And there's so much that can be said about those small victories. Yep. So I just want to make sure that I say that out loud. Like we target everybody. If your kid has a want and a will, hey, we'll take them.
And you guys offer 3 different options right now, correct? As far as like the frequency as in which the kids can come in.
We do. We typically 1 time a week for a child. I typically only use that one if a person is in season. If you're in season and you are already doing some stuff, no more than once a week. We don't want to overtrain. If you are in preseason, we typically try to do 2 times or so, just because we don't want to interfere with their school and what practices they have going on over there. But if they're out of season, hey, 3 or more is always a thing, because if you don't use it, you lose it. Everybody knows that.
Right.
So, and also when you're talking about kids, their mind is moving like 100 miles per hour.
Yes.
So ideally, we want to make sure that we keep it top of mind and we're not going backwards and continue to go forward.
Yep. That makes sense. I think you had a video on your Facebook where you were talking about that, and you said in it, you could even do, I think, 12 times a month, I think was something that you also offered. And that was more for like the off-season type of situation. Yeah. But then you finished that by saying, honestly, anytime you want to bring them, you guys come as much as you want. Like if this is something that you guys want to do, you bring them down, we're going to handle it.
Yeah, definitely. I did. Again, shout out to Mark Anthony. He was a photographer and videographer who did all those videos and all that editing, because he did some work, and he's showing them to me like, look, I put DJ in there. I'm like, oh, okay. So definitely. And we just have a good time. When you drop them off, all our parents know that we're going to treat them like they're our own. So
that's important,
we're just having a good time, and they're getting work out of it. Our goal is to get them to the next level by any means necessary, physically, mentally, emotionally, by any means necessary.
Yeah, that's right. You guys are coming up on 1-year anniversary of the academy. Is that correct? Didn't you guys start it in August of 22?
We started, we opened, we got the building in July, and so we started building in August. We did not open officially until October.
Okay.
That was kind of our soft opening. So we're getting really close to that date, and ideally, we've seen some success. DJ and I still brainstorm about how we can make it bigger.
Yeah.
So ideally, that's what the goal is. We want to grow to the point where we need a bigger building. Like that's where we're heading. There's some other things that's coming up the pipeline. Eventually you guys will see that we're going to be doing some other type of fundraisers and different things, because we want to provide a space for kids with, I call them athletes with special needs. We really want to get involved with that. Special Olympics. We feel like athletes is really, anybody is an athlete. If you think you're an athlete, you're an athlete. So we really want to get involved later with athletes with special needs and Special Olympics and things like that, just to create a space for those kids to come and feel good and get to see that you're not alone. So there's a couple of things coming up the pipeline.
Yeah, my wife teaches dance to high functioning autism kids.
Okay.
So I mean, and she is very important to her, and she's like, you don't. It's just a little bit longer. Like it's still they want to do it. They have fun, and that helps them too. It's so being active at a young age is so important. I think no matter who you are.
And the camaraderie and team building that comes with all of that as well. Like my son just started preschool at a public elementary school here this past year. And I volunteered as a lunch buddy as part of the lunch buddy program. And the class that I was assigned to was an extra needs class. And I think that originally it started out I was supposed to be assigned to just one student. and instead I was with the entire class for the entire year. And it's nice to see that progression and development of young kids, though, because when you first come in, they're so shy and they're so reserved and they're just not 100% trusting and sure about you yet. And then by the end of it, I'm taking pictures with all the kids. We like, and it was such a gratifying way of spending my time, to do something selfless, to just spend time with kids that maybe don't have the same confidence as other kids, but have no reason not to.
Correct.
Keep everything on the same level. You know what I mean? Pour into every aspect of life as much as you can in a beneficial, positive way.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. All right. So this is a Panthers podcast. Do you want to get into some, I don't want to say Panthers games, but like predictions maybe about what you think the Panthers might look like this year?
Sure, I'll see. Take a swing at it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so, you're going to step out on a limb here. We're going to have your name tied to these.
So I'm not going to – I don't want to go game by game because I don't want your name to be associated with picking any team against any team, because I don't want any kind of sports gambling, anything coming in the pipeline. But overall, me and Ricky are way in on the Panthers this year. Way in the Panthers. Me has a lot to do with DJ. Speaking of gambling, you can't bet over under yards for DJ right now on most sites, which now that people are starting to catch on to how good he is, now it's going up. But I have them winning 12 games this year. Ricky has them winning 11 games this year. Do you have kind of an idea based on any conversations or basically what you've seen, what you think that the Panthers' outlook is this year?
I will have to tell you, I don't have any predictions.
Okay.
I don't. The only thing, I know that's sad, because I don't, and I never do.
You're also super busy. You're super busy.
It's so crazy because every time I am out and about and a person hears my name, I typically say my first name, and then if they ask, I'll give my last, and it's always, "Are you DJ Chark's sister? Are you Kenny DJ Chark?" And I'm like, deal. Yes. And then it goes, "Well, he's on my fantasy team. Should I put him in this shit?" So, they're how's he feeling this week? I'm like, oh gosh. So I typically try to stay away.
Yeah, as you should. That's why we're very vague prediction.
Any sort of like, I guess, answers to those questions. I'm like, hey, if you feel like that's what you want to do this week, that's what you do.
Go for it, right?
Are they a playoff team?
Give the generic
that's a generic answer. Are they a playoff team? Do you think they're a playoff team?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think they have a good chance.
Okay.
I mean, hey, you got a quarterback. Again, whether you're number one pick or not, you always have something to prove. Yep. Everybody has something to prove. And so you have a fresh quarterback. You have DJ who's coming in who wants to prove something. You have a couple of other guys on the team who have things to prove. You have a coaching staff that have things to prove. So, I mean, coming in with so much, ceiling that they can really go, I definitely feel like anything is possible.
Yeah.
And as of right now, since nothing has started, I would say for sure. Honestly, all teams could be a playoff team.
Blank canvas right now, right?
Arizona Cardinals ain't making the playoffs this year. Sorry to tell you.
Hey, we don't know that. I mean,
we do.
Freak things happen. We've seen weird things happen. And guess what? I love the Saints. They're like, I grew up and I love the Saints back when they didn't win a lot of games.
And
it was like, if the Saints won, it was shocking because but then the Saints went on to win a Super Bowl. And it was like, the Saints won a Super Bowl?
Right.
And so there's always something else. There's always something else out there. The ceiling is, super, super high. And I definitely feel like it's a possibility.
You talk about DJ coming in and wanting to prove and all these other players like Bryce Young, there's this huge narrative about his size and frame. Is he going to be able to play in the NFL? You got the new coaching staff. Is Frank Reich a good coach, or was he kind of the issue in Indianapolis? And all of these headlines about proving people wrong. But Bryce has already said he's not looking to prove anybody else wrong. He's only proving to himself what he's able to do. He knows what he's doing. Do you think that's the same approach that DJ's coming in here, that he's not worried about outside detractors and factors like that? He really just wants to prove that he knows exactly what he can do, and he just wants to show that to everybody? Or do you think he does have a little bit of a vengeance where he's like, nah, I want to show you that I'm better than what y'all say about me?
I really think it's a little bit of both, because it starts internally. Like, you have to make that decision yourself internally, that I know what I can do. And then once you start to make that transition of I know what I can do, then you show the world what you can do. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, there's a lot of people who sit behind those screens and write all those nasty things about all these players and what their opinion of that player is. And so ultimately, yes, it feels good when you prove yourself right, but it feels great when you prove other people wrong too. So
especially when those people are just so rude and toxic. Like, there's nothing better than making somebody shut down when they were the loudest voice that there was about somebody doubting.
Absolutely.
You know, that's a satisfying feeling.
Even if you get an internal grin, it's still a grin. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. You can be humble about it. Which DJ, by all accounts, everything that he says, like all of his interviews and stuff like that, is a very humble, self-aware guy.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to know that he's got that dog inside of him, though, that's like, I showed him. See, I'm not going to sit there and point at him. I'm not going to rub it in his face, but I showed him.
You see that outlet when he like caught that pass, he like spun the ball. He was like, I'm him, basically.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Like I said, our quarterback is great when you can come out of the draft and like do some big things. Like you said, he wants to prove himself. And I agree that that's a great feeling. I low-key want to prove everybody else wrong, too. I love when those players prove other people wrong, too.
It's the best.
I kind of sit here and just wait for it. So when Twitter starts to blowing up and you like, wasn't you the same person who said
I keep
receipts?
I keep receipts.
Is that awesome? This you kind of question, you know, like was this you 6 months ago saying all of this, and now all of a sudden you're like, man, this is my favorite player.
Now everybody's jumping on this Chark train that I've been on for 2 months. But all our guys are kind of doing this. Miles Sanders, dude was a Pro Bowler last year, went to a Super Bowl. Pro Football Focus has him as the 23rd best running back coming into this year. He's like,
that makes no sense.
Right, I'm showing you guys wrong. Adam Thielen's 32 years old. Oh, he's washed. He's too old. He was the 19th best receiver coming, 2-time Pro Bowler. Hayden Hurst, first round pick. Dude is washed. He's younger than Darren Waller. All these guys, J.C. Horn's injury prone. All these like guys that have had huge success in the league that are still like kind of written off. DJ was a Pro Bowler the last time Michael Thomas was a Pro Bowler. Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't been a Pro Bowler since 2016. If people are still talking about him as not only not injury prone, he missed a whole year last year compared to DJ. But I'm going on a tangent right now. But I love that we have all.
But the point is that there's a lot
locked in.
Yeah, there's a lot of internal bulletin board material built into this football team, and that attitude and mentality and tenacity is probably the thing that can carry this team and make them different than a lot of the other teams that don't have that underdog mentality, you know, and it's a built-in thing for them. The other cool aspect I think about DJ joining this team is that he's got Dante Jackson, who was his teammate in college, correct?
Yeah.
And then I know Terrace came to LSU, I think, a year after DJ left. So I don't know that he ever really played with him, but there's that really cool LSU connection of all these guys. DJ, has he said anything about being on the same team with Dante and how that's a really cool, like, full circle moment for him?
I'm not sure. The crazy part is that I feel like every team he has went to, there's been some sort of connection there.
It's because LSU is LSU in the NFL, right?
When he went to when he got drafted, I was like, oh, you're going with Leonard. You know, there was that cool moment. When he went to Detroit, I knew Alex Anzalone. So he and his wife and I were really good friends. And so that was kind of like a moment of like, oh, we're circling back around. And being on a team with Dante, I think that's really cool. I'm a low-key Dante fan too, because I remember going to one of his track meets and I saw him run. I'm like, who's that kid who just ran, like just left everybody in the dust? And somebody randomly in the stands go, he's not going anywhere for track. He's going for football already. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, you know, I was just excited to see him do. I'm like, no, people don't do that anymore.
Right.
So that was really, really exciting for me. And so just to see them on the same team, I could hyper focus a little bit more on him too. I think that's kind
Yeah.
of cool.
And Dante's coming off of his own injury where he's looking for his bounce back year too. So him and DJ being able to do that together at the same time too is a really cool storyline that I think is going to play dividends for this year. There was one other thing that I was going to ask about, and now I can't think of it. Man, I hate when that happens. I really try like really hard to be well prepared so that I can have all of this flow organically.
Oh yeah, you weren't prepared at all. You didn't have any kind of information.
And then of course, right here at the finish line, I just space out. Absolutely nothing.
I mean, it's honestly a good place to stop. I mean, we've talked about all kinds of things. I think like this last bit of time, if you want to like talk about how you can get in touch, we can clip this out as like just this is how you get in touch with you. Yep. We'll also put it in my Twitter or Kitty Lit Twitter. We'll put it in Kitty Lit Instagram. Mark Anthony, if you have clips, if he's willing to show them, I can put him along with this video. Definitely let him know that he's being shouted out. I don't know how many views. I'm sure he's going to get a ton of views because you're more important than you think you are.
He's actually a well-known photographer. He also does
and a singer, Mark Anthony.
He does Ryan Clark and all of them.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I shared his video. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I coach his kids.
Oh, really? Yeah. If he's willing, we can post like a video of this alongside of this, or like as an intro, or however we want to do it, just so people can get an idea of what it looks like. Or like even like a long outro, however we want to do that. But for right now, if you just want to say how to get in touch with you or anybody for the raffle, however that one wants to happen, you can take this time right now.
So it's been really great talking to you guys. I'm super excited. You know, I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on and share just what we're doing here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. If you want to get in touch with us, please don't hesitate. Our Instagram and our Facebook is called Chark Academy. You can also reach us through DM. If you want to shoot us a text or a call, we have a business line. I love to hear from people. The number is 225-612-2282. I always respond. If it's not within the next 5 minutes, trust me, you will get a response. And we're just looking to bring all of those things that we feel that the kids today are missing and really enhance upon them becoming well-rounded human beings, whether it's an athlete or you just want to be a better you. We want to make sure that we can give you those resources. Additionally, for that, if you want to just become a sponsor or connect with us, we're looking for that too. DJ and I created our own shirts and our logos and everything. So if you want to purchase a shirt, you can also go to our website. It's www.charks.com. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys more. I'm looking forward to reaching out to you guys. And stay tuned because, again, I do think that the Panthers can go to the playoffs this year.
She said it. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Also, I think before we leave, let's get like a Twitter poll up for Ricky's wrestling name.
Yeah, I'm game. That I think now at this point it's been stamped. It's going to have to happen, right?
So is it Rowdy Ricky? Rowdy Ricky Rain?
Rowdy Ricky? Is it just Rowdy? Is it Ricky the wrestler? Let's do those three.
Okay. Anything else that you think of, Coach D?
The 3 R's are great. I'm just trying to figure out how do we do that?
Right.
It's Rowdy Ricky Reigns. Oh man, that's cool.
Oh,
Rowdy
that's
Ricky.
It.
Those
Triple
3
R.
R's are awesome.
3 R.
And then it's like a play on Triple H, right? Then I can just have the 3 R's across the belt, you know?
Yeah. So we got the 4-man rush. So now we're gonna have the 3R rush.
That's not nearly as sharp, but Triple R works. I think we just leave it simple like that.
Yeah. Also, wrestling starts with a W, so whatever. Coach D, thank you so much. We'll probably stay in touch. We want to do as much as we can, however you need it. We have creative content people that can help you with social media. We have people in restaurants and event space. Shout out Firefly, who's my buddy Nick Ayub's company. I told him I'd shout him out this episode. His wife Carlin is a social media content provider, Closing with Carlin. Sorry. So we can help you out in any way we can. You know what? Somebody smart told me that you can just ask. People always say no, but you just got to ask.
Yeah, there it is.
So that's a good message to leave on. Thank you so much. We always end the show with a keep pounding. So we're going to go me, Ricky, then you. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.